Hey, girlfriends, and welcome back to the Girlfriend's Girlfriend podcast. You already know what time it is. We're digging into something we all need, all chase, and sometimes misplace, and that's confidence. But not just any confidence. Today's episode is called Confidence Check. Stop dumbing down and stand out. Confidence check. Okay, we're going to do some confidence checks today. Stop dumbing down, girl, and stand out, because it's time we stop shrinking for the comfort of others and start rising for the calling within us. How many times have you held back an opinion, softened your tone, or just plain shrunk yourself to fit in? You hear that? Yeah, same here. But girlfriend, we're not doing that anymore. So grab your favorite drink, find your cozy spot, and let's talk about what confidence really means, where it comes from, and how we stop letting others define our worth. Stay tuned.
It's your go-to place for guidance. Step inside, see how good the vibe is. It's a girl talk and you're all invited. Cause every girl needs a girlfriend. Go-to place for guidance. Step inside, see how good the vibe is. It's a girl talk and you're all invited. Cause every girl needs a girlfriend.
Okay, let's start with the basics. What is confidence? It's not arrogance or loudness or always having the answer. True confidence is quiet courage. It's that steady knowing that says, I may not have it all together, but I still deserve to be here. I may not have it all together, okay? But I still deserve to be here. Confidence is knowing your worth, trusting your gut, and daring to be you, flaws and all. For me, confidence is rooted in faith. God gives me the grounding, and personal growth gives me the wings. I'll repeat that again. God gives me the grounding, and personal growth, which is the branches, it gives me the wings. But God is my foundation. I've built my own blend of tools, faith, positive affirmations, self-reflection, goal setting, self-care, and each one helps me walk in my purpose a little louder. Faith is the root. Personal growth is the branch. Confidence, that's the fruit.
It's story time!
Well, let me take y'all back for a minute. When I was a little girl, my stepdad hated the way I talked. Hated it. Hated the way I talked. He'd tell my mama, make her quit talking like that. But my mama didn't get it. Talking like that? Talking like what? She would say. And according to him, I talked too proper. He said it was white folk talk. And I, a little black girl, had no business sounding like them. Now, honestly, I didn't know voices had skin tones. Now, people played, the game of, oh, well, they sound, a certain way, or they sound like, they may be this color or that color. But I didn't know voices had skin tone. All I knew was it made me feel small. Like who I naturally wasn't good enough. And after hearing that over and over, I shut down. I dumbed down. I stopped speaking up. I stopped raising my hand. I stopped being me. And that same thing happened over and over in my life. Whether it was reading too much, making too many A's, being too curious, or spelling too well. People treated me like being smart was a crime. Like being different was offensive. I even remember asking for frosted shredded wheat in the store once, which is one of my favorite cereals even today, and getting laughed at by a family member for choosing white folk cereal. Really? Since when did breakfast have a skin tone? But that's the thing about confidence. It dies in environments that criticize your natural self. So I shrunk again. I silenced my joy. And those straight A's, they dropped like my self-esteem. We have a lot more to cover, including my confidence revival. How did I stop myself from dumbing down and standing out? How did I get to confidence? So we're going to get into all of that right after our commercial break. Stay tuned. Hey girlfriend, we'll get back to today's topic in just a minute. But first, it's time for your monthly moment of reflection and realness. Something old, something new, something borrowed, and something blue. So take a breath, grab your iced tea or that go-to summer snack, and let's dive in. Let's start with something old. And I say this is old because I've seen people do it, women do it rather, over the years. And so it's nothing new, but I guess I get a little shocked every time I see it. And that is women proposing to men. Yes, instead of the man asking for the woman's hand in marriage, the woman is getting down on one knee, asking for the man's hand in marriage. Okay, let's talk about it. So, should women propose to men? I know this is like an age-old debate and everybody have they say about it. Maybe you know somebody that's done it. Now listen, maybe I'm old-fashioned and I'm okay with that. But that's a level of bold I just can't tap into. I've tried being the aggressor before, being the initiative one and initiating, chasing, even asking a man out. And let me tell you, it never worked for me. Because let's be real, when a man knows what he wants, he moves, he pursues. So before you go buying a ring and dropping the one knee, all right, make sure you're not just filling in the placeholder role while he figures himself out. Now, I'm not judging at all. I'm the last person to judge. But I am saying, don't propose to confusion. Okay? But what do you think? Should women propose to men? Like, how do you feel about that? Okay? Look, email me and let's talk. All right? Let's go on to something new. Pop-up girlfriend events. Okay. It is summertime, and this is a season for girlfriend gatherings. I've been leaning into connection this month, all right? Movie nights, book clubs, and even meetup groups. Me and a few of my girlfriends started a book club, and it's been so good. I also joined a meetup group, and my first outing is next week. So we're going bowling. Pray for my ankles, y'all. Pray for my ankles. It's been a minute since I've been bowling, but pray for my ankles, okay? And girlfriend, if you haven't heard, The Best Man, Unfinished Business, the book, is dropping July 1st. A follow-up to The Best Man Final Chapters. If you know, you know. Okay, that all-star cast, Morris Chestnut, Taye Diggs, Neil Long, Regina Hall, Terrence Howard, Sanaa Lathan, Monica Calhoun, and Melissa DeSouza. Woo! Let me tell you, if you're not caught up, you better go binge. Because as Mama Odie said in The Princess and the Frog, it's gonna be good. Okay? So whether you're soloing, staycationing, or living wild with your girls, make it memorable. This summer is all about intentional joy, okay, and catching up on a good book, all right, and some good shows, okay? Something borrowed. You are not a tree. You are not a tree. This month, Something Borrowed is a simple but powerful quote. If you don't like where you are, move. You are not a tree. Now, say that again for the folks in the back. If you don't like where you are, move. You are not a tree. Okay, you're not planted. No one says you're planted in a certain place and you have to be planted or you have to take root somewhere. You are free to move, okay? We can get so stuck emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and convince ourselves we're powerless. But we are not planted with roots that can't be shifted. We can grow. We can choose. This reminded me of a powerful quote I read in the YouVersion Bible Plan. And it was called Don't Believe Everything You Think by Axis. It highlighted the distortion of blaming and referenced Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor and psychiatrist. And he said this: between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. Even when something happens to us, we still have the power to choose how we respond. So girlfriend, don't just sit in that space, okay? Stand up in it. You're not stuck. You're not a tree. And your next move might just be your breakthrough. But you got to move first. Something Blue, compassion in a real world. Now, for Something Blue, I want to talk about something that isn't always easy, and that's compassion. Because let's be honest, this world will test you. Folks will try your nerves, and sometimes the last thing on your mind is being kind. Can I get an amen? The line between love and let me pop off real quick gets real thin. But God, 2 Corinthians 1:3-5 calls him the Father of compassion and the God of all comfort. It says he comforts us in our troubles so that we can comfort others with that same comfort. That hit me. He comforts us in our troubles so that we can comfort others with that same comfort. Because if God could be patient with my mess, my moods, my mistakes, my mouth, let me say that again, my mouth, did I say mistakes? Then I can pause and extend a little of that grace to someone else. It doesn't mean you don't set boundaries, but it does mean that if we're going to say we follow him, we've got to reflect his heart, even when we feel like doing the opposite. So this month, let's love louder. Let's extend comfort and serve others, not just with lip service, but with actions that echo the way God loves us. And there you have it, girlfriend. That's your June dose of something old, something new, something borrowed, and something blue. If you love moments like this, wisdom, real talk, and that little spark of inspiration, then tune in every month for a fresh segment, because over here, there's always something brewing, something worth sharing, and something to help you keep your head up and your heart full. All right, let's get back to today's episode. Something happened when I turned 30. It was like a switch flipped. I got tired of living quiet. I got tired of fitting in places I was never meant to belong. I wore what I wanted, said what I wanted to say, and beat my own drum. Offbeat and all, okay? I can't say that I beat them perfectly every time. Sometimes they were very offbeat, but guess what? It was my drum. That old fear, however, even with having that confidence, that old fear still crept in from time to time because not everybody was clapping. Some were confused, others were uncomfortable, and for a second, I went back into my shell. But I remembered what my mama used to say. They'll either pull you toward them or you'll pull them toward you. She forgot to mention the third option, sis, you can just leave the group. Don't ever dumb yourself down for the comfort level of others. All right. So we're going to talk about some confidence builders. And I got 5 quick ways to check your confidence and build it back stronger. And number 1 is challenge your inner critic. We all have an inner voice that talks to us. Now we have, a choice to listen to it or not. That voice in your head telling you you're not good enough, tell it to take a hike. Replace negative thoughts with positive affirmations. The Bible has many, such as I'm fearfully and wonderfully made, and the internet has some too. But find what fits your situation and get in the habit of saying it every day. Soon you'll start to see it manifest. Number 2, set small, achievable goals. Celebrate those wins, no matter how small. Each accomplishment builds momentum and reinforces your belief in yourself. My dental hygienist told me one time, if you don't celebrate the small wins, you won't celebrate anything at all. Okay, and that came from my dental hygienist, Emily. If you don't celebrate the small wins, you won't celebrate anything at all. So you have to celebrate those wins. I don't care how small they was. Somebody may have paid for your coffee today. But sometimes the way life is set up, we have all these other things going on until it pushes the good to the back burner. And it only wants you to focus on all the negative stuff, all the bad stuff. Look at what they saying. Look at how they looking at you. Look at how you dress today. Look at all these other things. So you have to celebrate the small wins, even if you have to sit down and think about it for a second. What went right today? What happened today that was good? Okay, and I bet you, if you really sit down and think about it, there's more good things that happen than bad. So, like I said, each accomplishment builds momentum and reinforces your belief in yourself. Number 3, step outside your comfort zone. Do something that scares you, even just a little bit. It could be speaking up in a meeting, trying a new hobby, or striking up a conversation with a stranger. Now, for me, as you heard in the commercial, I joined a meetup group. That scared me because I'm like, I love people and I can talk to anybody, but, just getting out there and doing something and not waiting on somebody to ask you, hey, what you doing today? Or you want to do this? Or you want to do that? Girl, people got things going on. They're not going to always ask you what you got going on. You have to make things happen for yourself. I know a friend of mine right now. She'll strike up anytime and go on a trip by herself. She has stayed in hotels by herself. She has done, solo trips. Okay, solo dinners, movies. I've done a solo dinner. Okay, outside, inside. I've done movies by myself. This meetup is something new. It's not the first time that I've actually done a meetup. I've actually joined a meetup group before, but for some reason, those people never met up. So I'm like, y'all really need to take yourself down off the group, if y'all not gonna meet up. But so, and I'll come back next month and let you know how that was. But, do something that takes you out of your comfort zone. Why are you waiting on people to ask you things? Get up and do it yourself. Okay? Take yourself out. And I have to practice that probably more because sometimes I get to the point to where, because you think to yourself, I have friends. You might have friends, but sometimes those friends ain't always in the mood to be hanging out, in the mood to be doing something. Everybody has busy schedules and they can't come together, and whatever. You might suggest something, no, it ain't being done, but so that's when you just got to step out your comfort zone of your friends and kind of do something that, it may be with other people. Okay. Networking is really good. You just never know who knows something. You might have something that people know. They might have something that that's why networking is so great, because it's just good getting to know people. All right. So step outside your comfort zone this summer. Okay. And just do something, go somewhere. Number 4, practice self-care. When you take care of yourself physically, mentally, and emotionally, you're better equipped to handle challenges and radiate confidence. And we all know self-care is not about the loofahs and the nice body washes, in which I love me a good body wash. Okay. I love me a good face routine and all that stuff. But self-care, that's part of self-care, but self-care is, okay, self-care is getting therapy. I know we don't like to talk about that, but you're caring for yourself to get therapy, to go and to get help, to talk to people about, someone about your issues. That's self-care. Self-care is mental. Okay, hey, not allowing people to come into your space with all that negativity. Get up out of here. Honey, that's your mental space, okay? That's self-care. You're taking care of you. Now, that could be going to the gym, physical. Hey, you taking care of yourself physically, mentally, and emotionally. Because when you do, as I said, you're better equipped to handle challenges and radiate that confidence. And number 5, surround yourself with good people. Ditch the energy vampires and surround yourself with people who lift you up, believe in you, and celebrate your successes. And you may say, because I hear people say this all the time, well, I don't have anyone like that. Can I introduce you to my best friend? And that's God. Child, he's been my wingman for decades, even through my messes and successes, okay? And if you don't believe in God, that's cool. Learn to love yourself and be happy with your own company. Soon, you'll begin to attract people or individuals with like minds, just like yours. So in order to gain friends, you first have to be friendly and open to explore individuals that may not have the same taste or liking as you. But you heard that old saying, opposites attract. So that's the 5 tips that I have. 1, challenge your inner critic. 2, set small, achievable goals. 3, step outside your comfort zone. 4, practice self-care. And 5, surround yourself with good people. Listen, every month, I think we started that this year. We have a segment on the podcast called She Did That, celebrating women, and hey, they may have some men listening to this, celebrating people with the things that they've done, okay? Today's She Did That shout out goes to me. And because, you got to pat yourself on the back sometimes, okay? If you don't applaud you, if you waiting on other people to applaud you, honey, you're going to be parched. You ain't going to get it, honey. So, yes, today's shout out goes to me and every brave girlfriend out there and guy who dare to challenge themselves and refuse to be buried under the weight of other people's opinions. You didn't let their comments crush you. They threw the dirt. But guess what? You didn't go under. There's a song by one of my favorite old school gospel groups, the Williams Brothers, called The Goat. It tells a story about an old goat that fell into a well. The farmer tried everything to get him out, but nothing worked. So sadly, the farmer decided, well, since I can't get him out, then I might as well throw dirt on him and bury him. But you know what? He started throwing dirt down into the well. But that old goat, he was very smart. And every time the dirt hit his back, he shook it off and packed it under his feet. Dirt after dirt, toss after toss, he shook it, packed it, and rose higher. Until eventually, he stepped right out of that well. Listen, girlfriend, that's us. Shake off the negativity, shake off the lies, shake off the people who misunderstand you, misuse you, or try to define your worth. Pastor Jerry Flowers of Celebration Church, and I believe they are in Houston, Texas. He said something one day that was so powerful. I mean, everything he says to me is just powerful. It's amazing how God uses him and his wife. But he said, I'm just paraphrasing it, it might be your story, but it doesn't have to continue being the title of your life. You know how sometimes things happen to us and we take that title. It's the title of every relationship we walk into, every job we walk on, everybody we talk to. We telling them that same old story. That title, my hurt title goes with me everywhere. Yes, the hurt happened. What my stepfather did, that hurt. And I could have used that title to define everything in my life that I went to do or I went to accomplish. I wouldn't have done it if I had kept that as the title of my life. It hurt, yes. And I'm going to be honest, it was the title of my life for a little bit. But with God's help, I got over it. There are so many people that have told me they love the way I talk. I don't see what they hear, but I'm like, okay. But I've come to embrace who God created me to be. So I no longer carry that title around in my life. Okay, that doesn't introduce me. I'm not allowing that to introduce me negatively when I walk into rooms. No, that was his opinion. That was his thoughts. And it has nothing to do with me. God rest his soul. He's dead and gone now. But I don't think that he understood the impact of him saying things like that, what that did to me in my life. There are things that people do, it hurts, But I'm a firm believer that we have to put expiration dates on this stuff. Okay, some of us are walking around with some expired title. That title expired when you turned 18. It expired a long time ago, but we're still walking around. That's almost like walking around with some old mayonnaise that expired 3 years ago, but you still want to use it to put on your sandwich. You gonna get sick. Why would you do that? So don't keep walking around with these titles and these things that's defining you. Those things don't define you. God can turn pain into purpose. And that's what he has done for me. So the higher you go, the higher you keep shaking off that dirt and shaking off all that stuff, the lower the noise becomes. But you got to go higher. Okay, you can't stay in the same place and where it's at. You have to go higher. So today, give yourself a pat on the back for shaking it off, not shrinking back, and choosing to show up for you. I see you. And girlfriend, guess what? You did that. Okay, now let's wrap everything up in a moment of prayer. God, we thank you for the gift of confidence. For every woman listening today who's ever felt like she had to shrink, stay quiet, or become someone she's not, remind her that you made her on purpose. Help her rediscover her voice, her spark, and her strength. Let her know that being different isn't a defect, it's divine. In Jesus' name, amen. Girlfriend, listen, don't ever apologize for how you laugh, how you dress, how you speak, or how your light shines. You were never meant to fit in. You were meant to stand out. So whether your sparkle makes others squint or your voice makes them uncomfortable, that's not your problem, okay? That's their invitation to rise to your level. This world doesn't need another copy. It needs you. Just remember, there's nothing wrong with being different, babe. Nothing. And that's on period. Thank you for joining me today. Listen, if this episode blessed you, encouraged you, or called you out in the best way, share it with a girlfriend who needs to hear it. And while you're sharing it, invite them to join you at the table here at the Girlfriend's Girlfriend podcast. We can always use more girlfriends, sisters, and friends. New episodes drop every third Monday of the month. You can find us on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, Stitcher, iHeart, and everywhere else your favorite music and podcast stations reside. Be sure to follow, rate, and share this episode or this podcast with a friend who needs to hear that letting go can be the most loving thing you do. Okay, that confidence. Okay, getting that confidence and letting go of that mess could be the most loving thing that you do for yourself. Listen, do you have a story? You have a question or a testimony? You can email me at inspirationswithroshonda. That's ROSHONDA at gmail, not email, at gmail.com. I promise to read every message. So until our next outing, you know what I always say, this tab's on me. This girlfriend's out. Peace. Thanks for joining today's Girlfriend podcast outing. I hope our chat brought you comfort and a new perspective. Listen, if you got a question, don't forget you can text the show or email me at inspirationswithroshonda@gmail.com, and it might be featured in an upcoming episode. Remember, every girl needs a friend, and I'm here for advice, a laugh, or just to listen. Stay connected by subscribing, and you'll never miss a new episode. Until our next chat, this girlfriend's out. Peace.